Hey everybody, and welcome to another Jamovi tutorial with me, Dr. Swan. I am going to jump into this second episode of this Learning Statistics with Jamovi with a little bit of how to import, how to open up a data file in Jamovi here. So this one's really simple. I could add another really in there. And so let's just follow along and we will find out how to do that. All right. So to grab a data file from Excel, CSV, or anything, we can add in pretty much a ton of different files. And of course, since I am using an SPSS book to walk you through how to do all of these things, we can also open .sav files, which are the files that SPSS saves the data as. So we can open those as well. So let's go ahead and open up some data files. Now, the data that I'm going to be using in this particular episode is probably just going to be a random one from my local drive. But anything else that I tend to do in later episodes, as far as analyses goes, because I'm making this tutorial for an entire undergraduate semester of learning statistics with computer program, i.e. Jamovi. It'll get a little bit more useful when I use like data library stuff, the stuff that comes downloaded with Jamovi. But for this one, I think I'm just going to open up a random file on my computer, because you might have random files on your computer too. That might not be in the data library. So let's go ahead and open. So we're going to go to open. What it does is it opens this, it opens what you most recently opened with, right? So the last thing that I did in Jamovi was a Learning Statistics with Jamovi, which is a textbook that you can download from the Learning Statistics with Jamovi folks. I believe I have a video on my channel talking about their package that comes with all of this data that you can then use with their textbook, because it's connected. These data files are the ones they talk about in their book. So it opens up to where you last looked. And so this is part of the data library, as you can see here, data library. I'm just going to open up, it's been a while. All right, so you're started in documents. Oops, recycle bin has nothing in it. And this is what you get. But you could go up a tree. It's kind of hard. It's looking for all kinds of data files. It's kind of hard to navigate this one. So what I tend to do is I tend to just go to browse, which will open up a native file window here. So this is downloads. Obviously, we don't want downloads. I do want to go to my Dropbox, and I want to go to, this is how all of my files are. Let's go to research projects, and let's go to old projects. Backmasking. All right. So here I have a few data files. We have a .sav, another .sav, but we also have an XLSS file from somebody who helped me data entry, right? So this is an Excel file. This is what we want to open. So we're going to click open. So bada bing, bada boom, it opens up this this data file. And here's the data file. Okay. We have all of these entries in here. And of course, it again defaults to analyses. So we can go to data, and we can make modifications to this data. We can look at how many variables we have, okay? Looks like we have quite a few. Some of them are being read as nominal variables, and some of them are being read as scale variables, and that is due to these being integers. All of these nominal read variables are integers, and so Jamovi will read these as integers, as opposed to this set here, which has decimal points in it. And so by definition and by default, anything that has a decimal value in it will be read as a scale variable, because decimals are only for continuous. So if you have an interval or ratio scale variable, you will end up with it being coded as a scale variable. And then same goes for integers. It will read these as nominal. And some of these are nominal, to be quite honest. So that's how you open an Excel file. You just find it on your computer and you open it. And it reads the first row as the variable names. Okay. And most of the time, that's how you set it up. There are some edge cases where the first row is data, which isn't very helpful. You could start your data on the second row and not have anything in the first row. That's one way to solve it. But in any case, usually that first row, row number 1, is where you put your variable names and your headings for these variables, and that is how Jamovi reads them. So that's a very important thing to recognize. There is no option to change that. When we go to open, let me go back to open here. When we go to open and we go to browse and I click on this, there is no option, because the options here is within the data folder. We're just looking for data files. Now, these are all the data files that Jamovi can open. It can open OMV files, which is what Jamovi's base, this is its native file. So when you save something, which is for another video. So that is what it can open there. It's obviously can open its own file types. It can open up templates, OMTs. any comma delimited file, which is either a CSV that you would create in a program like Excel, or a TXT, a text file that has values that are just separated with the actual figure, comma. Open documents, ODS, so this is the LibreOffice spreadsheet file. And Excel's anything XLSX. Interestingly, the XLS, the legacy format, is not listed here. So I wonder if it can open that. I should try. It can open up SPSS files, like I said, a .sav, a .zsav. I have not seen that before, or .por. It can open up all R data files, so anything with .r data at the end of it, or RDS, which are native to R itself, the R console. Stata files, .dta, which is another proprietary pay-for program. SAS, XPTs, .sas 7bdat. Ooh, I would imagine XPTs are far more common than this one over here. But again, SAS is, or SAS is another proprietary pay-for program. And then JASP files. It can open .jasp files, which is the competing open source program. The folks at Jamovi originally helped develop JASP, and they started their own Jamovi. They started Jamovi on their own, so they can open, so they've created it to where it can open anything that you've made in JASP, which I think is amazing. But in any case, it can open all of these kinds of files, but we have no options to, change the rules. And that's one thing SPSS, as a comparison, it's one thing SPSS allows you to do. It allows you to make that change. You can say yes, or you can say no. It's a checkbox. You can say yes, you can say no. Most of the time, though, our spreadsheets have those because there is no header in a spreadsheet app like Excel. There's no header value here. So you're not separating that from your data, if that makes any sense. So this way of entering in the data is far more common than anyone would want you to believe, is my opinion on that one. So that is how you open up a file, an XLSX, a OMV, a CSV, or even a .sav or .jasap in Jamovi. It's really, really simple because of how many file types it can open. Thanks for watching this video. See you next time.